Hey everybody, it is DB Mogul here from the realpropertysystems.com website and the real estate investing channel. Today I want to talk about finding real estate deals. There'll be a couple of videos just outlining ways to find deals for you and the niche that you've chosen. So this is Finding Real Estate Deals 101. So the first basic idea that I want to throw out there is the idea of how are you going to know a deal when you see one, and the concept here is that you're not going to know a deal is a deal unless you know your market. So having a really good familiarity with your market, if you've chosen single family homes, then you need to know the market for single family homes, and I've said this before in previous videos. So how are you going to know this? How are you going to learn about that? How are you going to know your market? And the best way to do that is to be immersed in it, right? I was a real estate agent for a long time, and part of the job was previewing property. So as an investor, you're going to want to get to know all the property for sale in your niche, in your market. You're going to want to become really familiar with what people are coming onto the market at, what price they're coming onto the market at, and then in turn how long their property stays on the market and at what price they finally settle. That is oftentimes, many times, that is different than the asking price. You can ask anything you want for real estate, but what you sell it for is an entirely different amount. So if you're going to want to be able to spot a deal, in other words, you can go and see a property that's being offered at X dollars. But you don't know it's a deal unless you know that similar properties are trading for a lot higher. And the only way you're going to know that is to become extremely familiar with real estate in your area, in your niche, and in the area that you've chosen to invest in. So that is going to be an ongoing endeavor for anybody, okay? You're going to spend time every week, every day, however you choose to do that. Probably spending time every week or committing to spend time every week getting to know what's going on in your market is going to be really important. So when you see a deal that you can recognize it as a deal. So how are we going to do that? Well, clearly there are obvious sources for real estate sale, and that's the MLS, LoopNet. You can find properties on Zillow. You can look in the newspaper. You can look on Craigslist. You can drive the neighborhood and look at for sale signs. If you're doing residential, if you want to flip, if you want to buy and hold single family homes, going out on a weekend and previewing property is a really, really good idea to see what's going on in your market. Realtors hold houses open. You can go in, you're going to look, you're going to preview these properties, see what they're asking, and then see what condition the properties are in. Now, so this is actually, what you're doing is kind of, you're looking at the retail market. More or less what people on the retail market are paying for homes, and you'll get to know the difference between what they're asking and what they're actually closing at by finding comparable sales, by following the property's saga. If you're involved in real estate for any period of time, you're gonna begin to know, that place down the block was up at $650, but they sold it for 610 and it was on the market for 4 months and they kept dropping the price or whatever. But knowing that story is going to give you command of your local market. And so that is my first recommendation for finding deals. In order to find a deal, you need to be able to recognize a deal. And the only way we're going to know is to know what other houses are trading for, what the market really is. So that when you see something that's perhaps offered for less, you're going to know that it's a deal. And so then now I'll say, before I close out, it seems like most everybody who's buying or selling real estate has expectations, right? Sellers have high expectations for getting high dollar amounts for their properties. Buyers want to get a deal. I have yet to meet anyone that breaks that rule. Most people expect to pay less than the price for real estate. And sometimes that will keep them out of the market. Unrealistic expectations, and being that stubborn about what they're willing to pay. If they're demanding they will never pay full price in a hot market, they will never buy real estate unless they're willing to meet the market. Then on the other hand, real estate fundamentally is determined by the demand and what people are willing to pay, and that determines the market. So as an investor, we want to know where that market is, and then when we find a property that is under market value or being offered at under market value or able for you to acquire at under market value, you're going to know where that market level is, so that you can say, oh, this is a deal and here's why it's a deal. So end of video, the first idea is to know your market and spend time learning your market. So we're going to use all the conventional methods to learn our market. We're going to go out and look at signs for sale signs. We're going to go into the properties and look at them. We're going to use the newspapers to see what people are advertising properties in the area that you're working. We're going to look at Craigslist. We're going to look at the MLS. We're going to look on Zillow to find the properties for sale and also recent sales. And we're going to use the MLS as well. So those are so obvious, right? It's not like I'm giving you away a secret method of finding real estate deals. I'm giving you the obvious ones where most people are looking to find real estate. So you learn that, you start to learn your market. So that's step one. Learn your local retail market. And I will catch you on the next video. Again, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Share and like the videos on your social networks. And if you want a free guide to becoming a real estate mogul, there's a link in the link section, in the About section of the channel here. I'll give you a free guide to becoming a real estate mogul, and we'll see you on the next video. Thanks a lot.